On the last night of summer, when the air was thick with stillness and the moon hung unnaturally low, 11-year-old Casey Martin dared his younger cousin Danny to enter the old Camden house. Everyone in town knew the stories whispered in dark corners of school hallways and around fading campfires. The house had been abandoned for over 50 years, ever since the Camden family vanished without a trace. No one went near it anymore. People said you could hear voices if you stood too close. Casey, however, believed none of it. But Danny, new in town and eager to prove himself, was trembling even before they reached the creaking front gate. They climbed over the rusted fence, the metal cold against their palms despite the humid air. The yard was overgrown, weeds as tall as their knees, and the house loomed like a sleeping giant. Its windows were black and gaping, like hollow eyes. The boys didn't speak as they crept toward the door. The silence around them was oppressive, no chirping crickets, no rustling leaves. Just dead air. Casey pushed open the door, and it groaned so loudly that Danny almost ran. But he didn't. He followed. Inside, the air was stale, thick with the scent of rot and mold. The wallpaper had peeled off in long, curling strips, revealing cracked plaster beneath. Furniture, what little remained, was draped in grimy sheets. A broken grandfather clock stood at the end of the hallway, its hand stuck at 3:15. The boys explored quietly, their flashlight beams slicing through the darkness. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Danny shivered and tried to hide it. "Why is it so cold?" he whispered. Casey shrugged. "Ghosts like the cold," he said, smirking. But Danny didn't laugh. They stopped at the base of the staircase. The steps were splintered and crooked, as though the house itself wanted to keep them from going up. But something about the second floor pulled at them, a curiosity that felt unnatural. As they climbed, the air seemed to grow heavier, almost pressing against their chests. At the top, a long hallway stretched ahead. Doors lined both sides, all closed except for one at the end, where a pale flickering light spilled onto the floor. "Someone's here," Danny hissed, gripping Casey's arm. But Casey shook his head. "Electricity's been out for decades. There's no way." They moved slowly toward the open door, each step echoing in the silence. When they reached it, Casey stepped in first and froze. The room was lit by an old lamp, somehow working. The walls were covered in writing, over and over again. "Don't trust the whispers." The same phrase, smeared in what looked like ash or soot. In the center of the room was a small rocking chair, slowly moving back and forth. No wind, no sound, just that creaking motion. Danny pulled on Casey's shirt. "We should go." Then they heard it. A voice, not loud, but clear, as if whispered directly into their ears. "He's watching." The boys spun around, flashlights flailing. No one was there. The voice came again, softer now. "He's coming." The chair stopped rocking. The lamp flickered once, then went out. In total darkness, they fumbled to find the door, but it slammed shut on its own. Danny screamed. The whisper grew louder, overlapping into unintelligible murmurs, crawling into their ears, their minds. Casey grabbed the doorknob, twisting with all his strength. It finally flung open, and they bolted. They didn't stop running, not when the floorboards groaned beneath them, not when a mirror in the hallway cracked as they passed, not even when the front door, which had been open, slammed shut just as they reached it. Casey threw a shoulder into it, and it burst outward, spilling them onto the porch. They didn't look back. Not even once. The next day, Casey returned with his phone to take pictures, proof of their bravery. But the house was different. No writings on the wall. No chair. No lamp. Just dust and decay. He climbed to the second floor again, phone flashlight on, recording everything. But when he reached the room, it wasn't empty. In the center stood Danny, stiff and unmoving, eyes wide, mouth parted as if mid-scream. "Danny," Casey whispered, stepping closer. Danny blinked, and the door slammed shut behind them. No one saw either boy after that. The police searched. The house was torn apart, but it was like the walls had swallowed them. And at 3:15 every night, if you walk past the Camden house, the lights on the second floor flicker to life, just for a moment. Sometimes, if you're unlucky, you'll hear a whisper telling you not to trust what you see. And if you go inside, you'll understand too late what they meant. Weeks passed since Casey and Danny vanished. The town of Fairview buzzed with rumors. old fears resurfacing like dust shaken from a forgotten attic. Police cordoned off the Camden house once again, though nothing ever came of their searches. Some whispered that the house was awake now, feeding, watching. Others just told their kids to stay away and prayed the evil had gone back to sleep. But it hadn't. Nina Lopez, a junior at Fairview High, never believed in ghost stories. She was a skeptic by nature, raised by a mother who worked as a coroner and a father who ran the town's only locksmith shop. Death and danger were daily facts of life in her home, stripped of mystery. So when she overheard some classmates daring each other to enter the Camden house on Halloween night, she laughed. "You all seriously believe that crap?" she said, folding her arms. 2 boys go missing and suddenly the house is cursed.